You're listening to the Career Musician Podcast with creator and host, Nomad. With 20 plus years of experience in the music industry, Nomad has done just about everything to earn a living as a career musician. From being music director to celebrity artists, playing iconic arenas and stadiums, composing for film and TV, and even playing your average local club gigs, he's done it all. Nomad's mission is to empower musicians across the globe with strategies for a sustainable career while blasting stereotypes, and to bring you tried and true wisdom from his colleagues in this crazy business we call music.
Welcome to another episode of the Career Musician Podcast. Today we're talking to Curt Chambers, good buddy of mine and fellow guitar slinger, but also songwriter, producer, and country artist. Now, the cool thing about Curt is that he blurs genre lines. As one of the in-house producers and songwriters with the Dr Dre camp and Eminem, he is also pursuing his own artistry as a country singer, and you must check out his music because it is super dope. Right here on the Career Musician, Mr. Curt Chambers. I am sitting here at Nomad's place with none other than Curt Chambers.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Dude, Curt, so happy to have you here. Just, 3-4 nights ago, I met you in Nashville?
Yeah. And here we are in LA now.
At the Babyface Charlie Wilson show. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion that I'm going to catch you before you blow up. So this podcast is going to turn to gold.
That's definitely hope. That's what this is right here. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So you're from Philly.
Born and raised in Philadelphia.
So let's just start there, man.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did the music bug you?
Man, it all started in church. I had a very musically inclined family. A lot of great guitar players. A lot of great steel guitar players.
Wow.
And like folky sounding gospel soul music, if you will. There were no keyboards around, so you had to be able to play a lot of chords on the guitar and really carry like the service in church, stuff like that. It wasn't until later on in high school that I got into jazz, and I started picking up the piano and the drums and all these other instruments and bass and all that stuff.
Nice.
So, and that's where it pretty much got started in church, and then it went from there. And I was that kid that had a weekly schedule. I was sneaking in the bars before I could. I wasn't really drinking, but I was sitting in with the band, and I would go to the 5 spot on Tuesday nights. I would go to the jam spots on Wednesdays. I would go on Thursdays. I had a schedule. I would have my mother's car every day. My dad thought I was going out drinking because I would come in so late and my eyes would be red, but it would just be from just consuming so much music and study. I studied music every week, man. Church on Monday, the Roots Club on Tuesdays, the bar on Broad and Alny Avenue on Wednesdays. And Thursdays was probably some old other bar somewhere where they were playing, the Stylistics and everything, and then Fridays and Saturdays was, normal club, but
Right.
yeah.
Wow, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that was
so the church and the street, the clubs brought you up musically.
Yeah.
Ironically, very similar path here. Only I started with Van Halen. Then I got into the church and then later into clubs. But I think that's so cool. I really think that's where the best way to cut your teeth is in the club scene. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, man. I mean, the old heads really taught you how to, solo and just sound good as a band. In Philadelphia, we were taught early how to sound good as a unit. Mm-hmm. It's great to be a great player and solo, play a bunch of notes and all that. But man, that wasn't the thing. I came up around the Roots, and we were the guys that were sitting with them when they were out of town and they couldn't play for someone. They would call us, and we had the opportunity to learn how to play and sound good as a band. We learned that in Philadelphia. That was the Philadelphia thing. How do you sound as a band? Let's play these hits together. Let's figure out, all right, what sonically, where your voice is coming from. Are you staying out of the bass player's register, and vice versa. So, in Philly, that was our thing, sounding good as a band. So it was a great opportunity to be come up in that. Did
you become what I like to call a career musician in Philly?
Yeah.
Or was that later in LA?
No, man.
Okay, so you were gigging and writing and playing and doing all that.
Yeah, I was working a lot in Philly, man. I was working so much in Philly. And then for me, Philly created the opportunity to come out to LA and work a lot. I came up with my boy Adam Blackstone. We did our first gigs together. You know, me and Adam were gigging together since college, our first year of college. So yeah.
I just interviewed him a couple months ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
it's full circle.
I love Adam. Yeah, it's full circle.
Dude, that's my brother, yo.
Yeah.
I promise you, we've done our first gigs together. You know,
Wow.
I've been working with Adam for years.
Okay.
And I mean, it's good, man. You know, we came up with the roots. You know, Questlove used to send cars to my college to pick me up. You know, to play with them at venues and stuff. And that's how I got started.
That's cool. So you technically started with the Roots then?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the Roots, but you know, I would play guitar when Ben Kenny was gone doing something, or you know, before he went with Incubus. You know, and I was just kind of like the, you know, the B call guy or the C call guy or whatever. And I was playing with the Jazzy Fat Nasties at the time. And we were touring, we were opening up for the Roots overseas.
Wow.
So, and I was frightened out of my behind because I was 18 years old and I was playing in a trio band opening for the Roots, like no keyboard player, just drums, bass, and guitar, playing with the Jazzies. And I had to sound like a full, I had to make it sound full.
That's the best school right there.
Yeah.
That's better than any college, any lessons. When you're on stage, spotlight on you, and you're the only polyphonic instrument on stage. Yeah. And like you said, you have to make the chords make sense.
Yeah, and then play leads with chords and, you know, translate the transitions, you know, with... Yeah.
Can we find some of that material online?
Oh, man, I'm sure. I'm sure. I haven't looked for that, but I mean, some of the 5-spot stuff is definitely there. I want to see some of the overseas stuff because, man, we were playing some really, 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 really big... Oh, man, Jazz Cafe.
Oh, yeah?
In London, we played that. You know,
Jazzy Fats.
Jazzy Fat Nasties.
Jazzy Fat Nasties.
Yeah, man, and we played a few, you know, like overseas festivals, like North Sea Jazz Festival and all that. Montreal, all that, yeah, all that.
Right.
Yeah, very frightening.
So then so you're a young teenager, and then when did you kind of, you know... establish yourself as like, okay, now I know what I'm doing? When did that happen?
I don't know if that happened yet.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if that ever happens.
Maybe rephrase it like where you feel comfortable in certain avenues.
That's a tough one, man, because, you know, I'm the kind of person, I'm always reassessing what I'm doing and trying to get better every day. It's like the snake just shedding skin every day. But to try to answer the question, probably before I moved to LA, I started to get a grasp on, you know, what my thing was, you know, and it was like how I was going to do it and all that. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
and then what was the impetus for moving to LA? Like, what did you do here?
Well, I was working with Eminem, and then I met Dre, and, you know, I had been going back and forth to LA a lot, you know, and he hit me a few times, and I wasn't in LA. And I was like, you already know. I was like, you know what?
You learned that lesson quick, huh?
I said, this ain't gonna happen, but so many times.
Yeah,
so, I had already wanted to come to LA, and I was just like, you know what? I gotta go there because I want to make sure that I take advantage of this opportunity. And when that happened, man, it was just, you know, I was in there with him, and it's been nonstop. So
it's awesome. How many years have you been working with Dre?
Man, probably since 2012.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice, man.
Yeah, he's dope, man. He's one of the greatest, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Icon. Once again, folks, there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, right? Well, somewhere in that mix, you have to have a good dose of humility, but you also have to have a good sense of who you are and what your skills are. Listen, I think we can all learn from this topic and this subject. We have to figure out the perfect formula for all of these elements to live within ourselves so that when we represent ourselves to the world with our music, we don't come across as just some jerk, but we're genuine. You know what I mean? We're genuine, humble, relatable, and I think Curt has done a great job at doing just that.
Subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Tell us a little bit about that. What it's like to work with Dre. What is that like? I mean...
It's dope, man. He's just, you know... He's very smart musically. You know, he loves music. He's just passionate about what he does. And, you know, he lets us do our thing. He respects everyone in the room. And it's just great, man. Nice. It's the best situation, yeah.
What was the first session like? Were you nervous? Because I know at some points,
but
at some points as career musicians, we don't get nervous as much because, we almost get, we get accustomed to it, right?
Yeah, but the studio's different, man. The studio is such an intimate part of making music and playing notes. So I don't really get nervous on the stage, but in the studio, you can overthink some things, or you can hear tones and like, I want this to feel a different way, So yeah, I was probably nervous for a little while at first, but after a while, you figure out how to like trust, your gut and trust what you do and execute it, and you find your place.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is he the type of cat that likes to track live bands, or you do find yourself doing more overdub sessions?
It just depends, man. Whatever the room's feeling. Yeah. It's hard.
But that's so cool that he does everything.
Yeah,
he's vast.
Yeah, man.
And a writing session with him, is it the type of thing where you say, "Hey, man, I came up with this riff," or does it happen organically? Sometimes?
No, it's whatever, man. Yeah. I mean, everyone just kind of does their thing, and like it's just
start vibing. Next thing you know,
it's so open, man. That's the great thing about
cool.
like even like how I got started. Just being able to be in so many different genres of music. I'll bring a lot of those attributes to sessions, whoever I'm working with, and just it comes in handy, you know what I mean, to have a few tricks,
to have the tools.
Yeah. I
always call it the tools of the trade, man. You need it. So some of those tools for you, like you said, you got into jazz, but you learned church music early on.
Yeah.
But then you hit the club scene, so you got Motown and the Philly sound.
Yeah, man.
You got the soul sound. What else you got in your toolbox? A bunch of stuff, I know.
Yeah, man. Jazz. Well, I went to school for jazz drums and piano.
Totally different than guitar.
I was a straight ahead jazz drummer at William Patterson University.
How the heck did you land on guitar then?
Well, the church that I grew up in, guitar was like the primary instrument, So I knew that I was going to play guitar. It was embedded in me, So I picked up the piano because I just wanted to broaden my sense of like how I can reach into my toolbox and pull this out. I studied a lot of like Bill Evans, Oscar. I used to go to sleep to Oscar Peterson.
Wow,
I loved his speed.
Yeah, so clean and
just like every note punchy. Like a punch in the gut. Yeah. And then Bill Evans and like Chick Corea. Herbie. All those guys, and then I went through my horn phases when I would study horn players, and I just consumed as much music as possible. And then I started listening to rock, and then the tones, and the amps, and
totally different.
I'm still falling down that wormhole right now as we speak.
That's what we were just talking about, amps. You walked into my studio and you're like, yo, you got this head, you got that, you got this. And it's funny because that is a never-ending wormhole, just like all of the, lanes in music. You can just, especially now with YouTube, you ever find yourself, stuck to 3 or 4 in the morning going down a YouTube? Like, what am I doing? I know I should be sleeping right now.
This
crazy.
Looking at amps, looking at compressors.
Yeah, I know.
Pedals. It's
all right. So you're out here in LA. You started working with Dre. You've been working with Eminem. You came up with Adam. So the exposure, I've got to be honest, Curt, the exposure is really high from the get-go, man. Not many cats are that fortunate to have that kind of high exposure from the get.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't know if you've ever reflected on that, but that's really cool that you had those opportunities. But it's one thing to get the opportunity. It's another thing to keep getting invited back.
Yeah.
So as a career musician yourself, and now of course you're moving on to artistry, which we'll get. What are some of the what's your MO? What are some of the philosophies that you believe in to be like a really successful, career musician?
Man, my opinion, I drove myself crazy a lot, and what I mean by that was I always made sure that I pushed myself to the limit to never be comfortable with like the old things that I knew how to do. Meaning, Adam thinks I'm crazy because he would always make a joke about me, be like, man, you're always changing up your rig. And, and and I would always say, well, man, I want to get used to being uncomfortable. That's like the guy that says, hey, man, I only know how to use my Marshall stack and my Boss pedal, and, I'm just going to stay with that. Hey, some people may argue my point and say, well, if it sounds good, why change anything? And yeah, I feel you, but I don't know, because like when technology's changing, the world's changing around you, and I feel like you may possibly wake up one day and everything's so totally different, and you're too far out of
you missed
this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so you got to be used to at least learning new things. So
that's right.
I feel like that's one of the things that kept me, you know, at least interesting to people, you know what I mean? Like I, you know, when the fractals came out, I was on that, you know, and the new pedals, you know, I would know how to use this, you know, just knowing how to like program things with my guitars and my amps and my pedal boards and stuff like that, and just being knowledgeable about, and not even just, if you're a guitar player, not just being knowledgeable about a guitar, but like knowing about DAWs, knowing about compressors, knowing about being a valuable person in the room will keep you, you know, coming back, you know, even if they don't, you know. So when someone asks something like, you know, hey man, what do we do about this? And if you're just like, oh, you know what, guys, I checked this out the other day and this is kind of cool and this worked for me, you know. I feel like, you know, just being a student of music, you know, and just learning as much as you can and consuming as much as you can is gonna make you a valuable asset in the room with anybody, and being humble about it as well, you know. So
yeah.
Download, subscribe, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
Follow The Career Musician at Facebook, Instagram, and sign up for the Career Musician newsletter at thecareermusician.com.
Want to learn more about a particular topic? Tag @TheCareerMusician and use #CareerMusician to let us know what you'd like to hear.
You're listening to the Career Musician Podcast with your host, Nomad.
One thing I like to, I'm so glad you said that about pedal boards. I build a pedal board before a gig sometimes.
Yeah.
Like literally.
For the gig.
I'll wake up. I said, what gig do I have today?
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm going to go build a pedal board. So I go in my garage, and I have a pedal board set up, a building station in my garage. And when I say building, I don't mean like Dave Friedman professional. I mean like Nomad's rigging it up, kind of, you know, some gaff tape and, you know, just the way I could do it, you know? And it's so much fun because then you get to the gig and you're like, whoa, what's this? Oh, wow, that's neat. Oh, this is neat. Or then if one doesn't work and you have to take a solo, you're like, oh my God. And you're like trying to push the cables in. It's exciting, right? It is. It keeps you fresh.
It keeps you fresh.
You know? And then you discover new sounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just hit one note and the sustain is so intense, you're like, okay, I can Santana this all night. You know?
Yeah.
So that's fun. I love talking to another guitar player, but especially somebody who's passionate. And I love the fact that you're so well versed. I was always one of the guys to say to myself, I want to learn how to play drums really well, piano really well, strings really well, but I never did. I always heard it in my mind, so now I do it in the digital realm. You know what I mean? But to actually be able to play bebop on the drums and Bill Evans on the piano and guitar, that's huge, bro. That's a lot of work. You've been busy.
Sometimes I wish I didn't play as many, you know. Well, nowadays I wish I didn't play as many because, you know, I'm like, hey, I want to sound like Joe Bonamassa this day, and I want to, you know, I want to sound, you know, like George Benson on this day, and, you know, and I want to sound like, you know, and that can be hard if you just play guitar.
On your own psyche, right?
Yeah.
You drive yourself nuts.
Yeah.
With just guitar, I can't imagine with all these other.
Yeah, I wish, you know, I wish I could be all those guys on guitar, and then all the guys I want to be on piano, and all the guys I want to be, you know, on drum. It's, you know, I wish I could do it, man. I really want to I would love to do it. I don't think it's physically possible.
But this is a good segue. So what made you say, okay, because you've been writing in this field with Dre for a while, right? So you've been writing, like, what type of song? You write a lot of R&B and rap stuff, or what have you been writing over the years? Or is it literally all over the road?
It depends on what box I'm in at the moment. Adam and I, we had a boy rock band called Franklin Bridge. That's interesting. You got to check some of that stuff out. It's old. It's, you know, it's older now. But
I've heard that name. I do. Yeah.
But we had that, and that was just like rock stuff. You know, it was kind of like pop rock with, you know, R&B vocal melodies. It was really good. Yeah. And then I've always stayed in that whole like rock blues, like cool. Singer-songwriter, bag, if you will.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I would come out of that, I would collaborate with my friends, and they were always doing R&B. And so that's where the R&B side comes from. So that's what you'll see where I wrote songs for Estelle, and
nice.
Wrote a song with Miguel for Jaheim called Finding My Way Back. That was my first Grammy nomination.
Wow.
And then I wrote a record for Lettucey as well.
Nice.
Wrote some songs for Eric Roberson and what's his name? The other guy, Kenny Lattimore. Those guys.
Yeah,
I was super, super young doing that, but.
Yeah.
Those are the R&B pockets that I was able to fall in just from being around the Roots and all the neo soul guys there.
Yeah.
So, but that was that other side. But as far as like the other side of what I was doing was always like the singer songwriters, the John Mayers, the rock, kind of like melodic rock type stuff.
And is that the bridge that brought you to being a country artist?
The funny thing is, man, the country thing just came from the church, man. Like, when I tell you this church that I spent the first 19 years of my life in sounded like, like just country, just like that.
The soulful twist?
This sounded like a country bluegrass. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Very bluegrass, very country, very Americana type sounding soul music. So, man, that was embedded in me first, really.
That's cool.
So everything else was just a trip out of that.
So you came back to the original.
I'm basically just finished. This is a full circle
closing
right now.
The loop.
I'm closing the loop, and I'm so happy, man. I love doing.
That's cool.
If country music wasn't popular right now, I'd still be doing it. If it was no such thing as pop country right now, or if nobody knew about Nashville or anything, I guarantee you I would still be in Nashville right now, painting and walking up and down the street trying to say, hey, man, I need to do this. Yeah, because I just love it that much, man.
And remember, I always used to say you have to decide what you want to be, a sideman musician in the backing band, backing up artists, or if you want to be the artist themselves. Well, again, Curt is a great example of somebody who has morphed from sideman into artist. Now, you could come out knowing from the beginning at 15 that, man, I'm an artist, but I can really play my instrument, so I'm going to go back up some other artists, try to earn a little living here, make a career, and then morph into an artist. That's what Curt has done. That's what I am doing and have done. And many others, I'm sure. However, there's lots of career musicians out there that just want to be the sideman, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful thing, and there's a fine art to really knowing how to do that to its fullest. On the other side, there are some people who have musical talents and say, you know what, I never want to play for anybody else. I just want to do my own music. And that's a beautiful thing as well. So there is no right or wrong. Just try to figure out where you fall in these categories. And you know what, it might not be that clear, but that's okay. As time goes on, you will begin to develop and it will cultivate itself, and the truth shall be revealed.
Blasting the stereotype of musicians. Follow us at the Career Musician Podcast.
And again, for you to have all the experience in all these different walks of life and different instruments within music, to know that that's your spot, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's perfect timing now. I think that I appreciate how open-minded they are now and how they're allowing so many sonic attributes to that genre now. I think it's good, and I think it's it's a perfect time, and I've been able to produce some stuff for some super small artists, man. They're super small, up and coming.
Right.
But I love it, man. It's just fun. I get to do my thing over it and spread a little paint, hopefully where it ain't, and see what happens.
That's awesome. I like that analogy, spreading paint. That's good.
Yeah, man.
Dude, so all right, so any golden rules, man, that you have for the next generation aspiring, career musicians? What do you say? You already laid a lot of wisdom on us, but
yeah, man, I would just say, man, be as humble as you can, but also be as much of a badass as you can when it's time to be a badass. Right. A lot of people are gonna, tell you that something's not good enough, or say
it again, please. Say that again.
A lot of people will tell you that something's not good enough, and you just gotta remember that there could be a few reasons why they're telling you that. Maybe they have their own motives, or maybe they just don't know. Like most label people, they just don't know.
They're just not.
They don't know
what you're doing.
So the best thing you can do is just be humble and keep coming back and just be like, hey, I understand that you feel like this may not work, but you may feel different about it tomorrow, just keep coming back and just keep sharpening your skill and just be humble, but be confident when you step on that stage, man. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I would say, man, this is the thing that helped Adam and myself. Find your clique. Here's the thing. I know you've heard this so many times, but there's so much strength in numbers. Mm. Perception can change like this. Mm. You can walk into an office and say, hey, I got this burger that I made. It's really good, and I think you should try it. They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to go to the places they love to go to. But if you walk in with a bunch of people that are like, this burger is amazing, and they're drinking, and they look good, and you're walking in with someone else that they like, one of their homies or a girl that they think is cute and sexy or whatever, I don't care, whatever the heck you can do to change the perception, do that. Find your clique, man. Find your clan and just make a lot of noise and be confident because, man, people just want what works. And if you can show that it works and you're having a good time and you're humble about it and you're just killing it, you're going to get your chance. Everyone gets their chance, man. You just got to keep going. You don't get a lot of no's. We all get them. I get them all the time. I get no's every day. Yeah. But it's all,
It's perseverance.
Yeah.
And just being disciplined to keep up with the consistency, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say, man. Just get your crew and just...
That's awesome.
And make some noise. Don't roll along. Just roll up about 5 or 10 and all y'all just be badasses,
Yep.
Ain't nobody going to the gym by themselves, but if you call me Curt, I thought you said we were going to the gym this morning. I'm going to be like, man, I got to get up. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say, man.
Wow. Yeah. That's excellent advice. Memorable moment?
Yeah, me?
Yeah, anyone? I know there's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, man.
Anything in particular stand out?
Man, so many, man. Dude, I remember when I was in college, and somebody gave me this Prince Rave live DVD, the white one.
Yeah.
When he had the blue suit on or whatever. Guys, you gotta check that out. Whoever's listening to this, please check this out. I watched that DVD because I'm a huge Prince fan. Right. I love guitar players that can sing and play and entertain the crowd. That's my thing. Yes. I'm really huge on that. I love entertainers. So I watched that DVD and I watched him do his thing. And I lie to you not, man. I'm in college, dude. I'm probably like sophomore year. I'm too old for this. Man, Purple Rain came on, dude. And it hit me that is what I wanted to do in life. Now, mind you, dude, I was a jazz major playing drums and playing piano. I played guitar, but just on gigs when I would go back and forth to Philly and stuff. People in my college didn't even know that I played guitar yet. They had no idea. Wow. And I watched that DVD, man, and when he went into that record, I just started crying.
Wow.
And I was just like, that's what I'm supposed to do in life. That was probably one of my most memorable moments.
I like that. I like that because it was an internal memorable moment, and it relies on your own self and not someone else.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, when I played with Stevie Wonder, when I met the president, when I blah 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 blah." But yours is internal. It's all on you, and that's awesome. Yeah. Because that means. And for you to recall it like that, and you were in what, 19 maybe?
Dude, yeah, I was a baby. So, it hit me hard too. Glad my roommate didn't come in. That'd have been kind of weird. You sitting there crying
over friends. Are you eating chocolate ice cream too, bro?
Are you shirts or blouses?
Did your girlfriend just break up with you? That's funny. Oh my God. No, that's good, man. That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, man.
Wow. So, all right, the future is what? You're signing. You don't have to divulge, but you have some good signing things on the table in the near future, and you're working on a record, your album rather.
Working on an EP right now.
An EP, and it's going to be in the country genre.
Country genre, absolutely.
And you had something about that was related to a revolver.
Oh yeah,
what was that called?
Oh, I'd love to talk about that, man.
Yeah,
I got these hats. Do I have one on now?
No, you had one in Nashville. Yeah.
So I got these one of my logos. It's called One in the Chamber.
One in the Chamber.
One in the Chamber. Yeah, I got merch online. So I'm selling it. But for me, it's like I'm a little mixture of like nice and like kind of hard boy, whatever you want to call it.
Good,
whatever.
I like it.
But I like the whole One in the Chamber thing, and for me, it meant like have something in the chamber, or have like a dream, a goal. You know what I mean? Like have something. You know what I mean? Like keep yourself motivated. You know what I mean? Always have a plan. Always have a goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's for me. That's what the whole one in the
So that's
chamber.
all it is. It's just
I mean,
it's based on your philosophy.
Yeah, it's my thing.
I love that.
Yeah,
Again,
it's my
when I
thing,
say that's all it is, I'm not belittling it. I think it's amazing because again, people would be like, "Oh yeah, it's a tour I did, or it's an album." No. It's a philosophy that you live by.
It's a philosophy, man.
It's one of your modus operandi, if you will, right?
Yep.
It's for you. Amazing, dude.
Man, I love doing interviews, man. It's fun. I love talking to people, man. I love sharing information. I mean, whatever I can share, I
believe in that too, man.
Yeah.
Curt, it's been awesome, dude.
Thank you for having me, man.
My
Seriously,
man.
I really appreciate it. Seriously.
Fellow career musician.
Thank you so much,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Love you guys.
Absolutely.
We didn't bore you. Hopefully you enjoyed our conversation.
And your main social, your website?
Yeah, website.
Which is?
CurtChambers.com.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can find Instagram and all that from there. My Twitter is Curt the Rock Boy. That's the only tricky thing, Curt the Rock Boy. But whatever, man. Stop me on the street, man. Stop. You can find me on in Trader Joe's. You can find me at Whole Foods. Just
there you go.
hit me up and talk to me. But if you talk to me too long, I'm gonna ask you to make me some chicken sausage, because I love to eat. So.
The Career Musician, keeping musicians informed and up to date on news that affects their music careers.
The goal of the Career Musician Podcast is to provide valuable insight aimed at supporting working musicians. Please show your support by listening, downloading, subscribing, sharing, liking, and leaving a review.
Add The Career Musician to your playlist on Spotify.
The Career Musician Podcast is a member of the Pantheon Podcast Network, the first all-music-based podcast collective. For more info, visit pantheonpodcasts.com.
I'm just a nomad, nowhere man, writing the songs in this one-man band. A nomad, yeah, I'm a nomad, So hush now, darling, you'll be fine. I'll be back this way.
Hey, this is Nomad, host and creator of the Career Musician Podcast, and I am thoroughly stoked to be an official member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Pantheon Podcast Network is the first of its kind as an all-music-based podcast collective. Please be sure to check us out at pantheonpodcast.com for more info.